It's really easy to get caught up in life and not question why you're doing the things you're doing. You're kind of just on autopilot doing these things. You might be told to do them. You might think that it's cool to do them, but you don't really wonder why you're doing them. So it's important to ask, are you doing these things for someone else's approval? Whose approval is it? And like, what's the cost of going to do these things for the sake of that approval? There's been points in my life where I was more actively seeking people's approval than I would like to admit. Especially whenever I was younger, it's like almost whenever you're younger, it's almost all you do. Because like you want to impress your parents, you want to impress your friends, your peers, just the people around you. You want to be seen as like a cooler person. It's kind of just part of being young. And for me, it was almost everything. Like schooling, I did not care about school. I went to college because my parents wanted me to go to college. I didn't even want to go. And I knew that whatever I was going to end up doing, I wouldn't have needed to have a degree. But I did it anyways because, yeah, I knew people thought of it as a good thing. Like, not even just my parents, but people, and like maybe I started dating a girl, her parents would like to know that I have a degree or that I was in college. So that was part of the reason why I went. Like, I didn't even want to go. I didn't know what I wanted to go for. I just went for business because I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. Business is very general, so let me just go for a business degree. So I did that. And like 3 years in, I was like, man, why am I here? Like, I don't even want to be here. And I just toughed it out and finished it. I was already almost done. And I was getting paid to go, so I was like, might as well. But it's not something I wanted to do. And I didn't ask myself why I was doing it. I just did it because I wanted to impress people around me. And the cost of that, I wasted 5 years. I had to do an extra year because I was behind. Or like 4.5. I had to do an extra semester. I wasted 4.5 years that I could have been using on building a business, could have been using on something like this, could have been using on working towards a career. Just could have been using towards, but I wasted 4.5 years of my life, which is, time is really important to me, especially my younger years. Like right now, this is a very important time to me in my life. Like I just believe that, like, that's how I think. So I missed out on all that time, and just the things that I could have been doing in my life would be completely different right now. And then there's things in my life that I've done that, I did it for myself. I didn't do it to impress others. Maybe there was like a hint of it, but there were underlying reasons that I genuinely wanted to do it. Like getting in the gym, to me, it's like I wanted to be, whenever I first started, I was a really insecure guy. And I got into it because I wanted to, look good, right? But another reason was I wanted to appear more masculine, be more manly. Like I was 19 years old, 18 years old, and I was like 120 pounds. Like I did not enjoy that myself. So I that was a personal thing. It wasn't like I want people to see me that way. I wanted to view myself that way. I wanted to have more weight and see myself as a man. I was 19. It's like the time you're becoming a man. So I was like, okay, I want to appear that way. So that was like the reason I got in the gym. It was for myself. And then there's going to be underlying issues, like underlying things, like I want to impress people with most things you do. But for me, most things that I do now are just almost fully driven by what I want to do. Like whenever I see people around me that are my age, they're like textbook, they're way more successful than me. Like I'm not even close to them. I'm like a failure compared to most people who are my age. But in my eyes, the things that I'm doing are so aligned with my goals, my purpose, that I feel so successful. Like I know mentally I'm doing better than almost all of them. Or at least I like to think that, right? I'm doing what I want to be doing. So to me, I'm happy, and it's going to add up in the long run. And it's just, people's values are differently. So it's important to understand what your values are and not just conform to society's and what you should and shouldn't be doing. And that's the first thing you need to learn in order to start living for yourself, is defining what your goals and values are. That way you can set yourself up in a way that you're actively striving towards your goals and you're following your values to feel better about yourself. And knowing that you're doing what you want to be doing, you won't look back with regret. So take some time, if you're up for it and you actually want to figure out what your values are, what you truly value, and what you actually want to be doing with your life. Like, what are your goals? Because people don't really do goal setting that much, and I think it's really important. I do it. I need to do it for this year. I haven't done it yet, actually, so I'll be doing that soon. But it's just important to know those things because it lets you know how you want to live your life. And the best way to know if you're living for others is if you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. Like, I use the gym for a lot of references because I'm just a big gym guy. Like, I go to the gyms a lot. And a big thing with people who go to the gym is they compare themselves to the people around them. Like, I'm a smaller guy. Like, I'm 5'9", 165 pounds, something like that. But I look good. Like, my physique's good. But if I go in the gym, it's not really like that anymore. Now I just go to go. But whenever I was younger trying to get in the gym, it's like, I'd be looking at this dude who's like 6'4". He's like 250, just jacked. I'm like, damn, I don't think him. How do I get like that? But it's like, that's not who I'm not like supposed to be a big guy, right? I wasn't born to be a big guy. And it's not necessarily what I wanted to. I just think it looks cool. Right? I just want to be fit and look good and be strong. That's kind of what I do now. And I look good for my size. I'm not some 6'4" dude, so obviously I'm not going to be 250 pounds. I'm not going to be as strong as him. That's not how I'm built to be. So I don't compare myself with that anymore. And it's like a really hard thing for people to grasp who are in the gym, but it's not even just the gym. It's like business, career, any line of life. It's so easy to compare yourself to other people. Even the way you look, like just every aspect of life, it's so easy to compare yourself to other people, but you're not them, you're you. So just wrap your head around that, and it's going to help a lot in that area. And then another way to tell if you're living for other people and not yourself is just if you're prioritizing other people's opinions over your own. Like that's just, in general, not a good way to live, right? It's your life. Follow your opinions. Follow what you believe in. You know, take theirs, like, listen to theirs, be open-minded, listen to their opinion. But if you don't agree with it, don't force yourself to go about doing it just because they tell you you should be doing it. If, like, there's people whose whole life is catered by their parents. Like, somebody could be born into a family and their parents just want them to be a lawyer. So their whole life they're raised to be a lawyer. They're forced to go into law school, but it's like, they don't want to be a lawyer. But they'll do it anyway just to please their parents. But that's not what they wanted to be doing. So they're not prioritizing themselves, they're prioritizing what their parents want of them. And that's not living for themselves, that's living for their parents. And I think it's an awful way to live, in my opinion, and I've experienced it, not on that extreme, but I've experienced it, I know what it's like. And it's just an easy way to tell if you're doing that. And typically it leads to burnout and like dissatisfaction. It's like whatever you end up doing, you wouldn't even want to be doing it anyways. You're going to be burnt out and just not satisfied with your life. Like to picture that dude who was just forced to be a lawyer. He's not going to be happy with his life. I'm sure he might be making a lot of money. Sure, he might be a successful lawyer, but he doesn't want to be doing it. So he's not going to be satisfied, and he's going to be burnt out of being a lawyer, and he might even, like, his performance might drop. It's like, man, I don't even want to be doing this. Why am I doing this? And it's just going to overall lead to a worse life. And that's why I fully believe your life should be lived by your rules and not ruled by somebody else's expectations of you. But, yeah, if you have any value from this video, appreciate you subscribe. Besides that, see you in the next one.